Today I want to talk about the role of fear and how it impacts decisions we're making in retirement. I'm going to talk about something that has been more present in my retired life than I really expected, and that is fear. Fear of initiating something new, of moving out of my comfort zone, and I wouldn't really call it taking risk, but the fear of the unknown. Now, as human beings, we all have the fear of the unknown. This is a part of human nature. And by the same token, we loathe being bored and being in a rut. So the unknown actually serves us in making our life more interesting. But we can get stuck. We can get stuck in a rut, and that isn't going to serve us whatsoever. Now, I can think of plenty of times when fear has slowed me down. But thankfully, I will say it hasn't stopped me. And I want to share with you today how I moved through that evolution, that path that got me to going forward with something that was very important to me. So stay tuned, don't change the channel. We've got lots to cover today. And I'm going to share with you these breakthrough techniques. The first one is knowing what the fear is. Asking yourself, what am I afraid of? Whatever it is you're going to embark on or want to endeavor in, ask yourself, what am I afraid of? What is this fear? Identify it. Because if you don't know what it is, it's just this mystical thing in your mind and you really don't have a handle on, you can't get leverage on it. The second step is validating it. It's a real fear. I had plenty of real fears about starting this channel. I had plenty of real fears about not having enough knowledge in video. I had plenty of fears about maybe not being the right demographic, all of which ended up not being true. And the only way I could find out that they weren't true was to take the first step. And that leads me to the third technique. Take a baby step forward. For me, it was buying the tripod and then the camera. And granted, there were months in between both of those things, probably at least 6 months. But identifying that, yes, I still wanted to do this. And yes, I was willing to invest a teeny tiny little bit of money into the tools that I needed to get going. The fear I'm going to address today, as an example, is the fear of starting a YouTube channel. Now, my first fear was around the fact that I didn't have the skill set to do this. I don't know how to video. I'm not really skilled in public speaking. But I will tell you this. I know I can talk a blue streak. I can talk a blue streak when I'm out socially with almost anyone. And I worked in sales and I owned a business. So speaking publicly like that was not an issue. It's just the idea of being in front of the camera. And that made me uneasy. It made me think, well, I might stumble. I might hit roadblocks when I'm trying to speak. Well, the first thing about that is that there's the editing tool. So I can override that by knowing that there's an editing tool. But while I was making the decision, I didn't know about this. I didn't know about the editing tools. I didn't know how good and easy they would be, and actually how much fun they would be. But that leads me to point number 2. Point number 2 was, it would be a chore. It would be something that would be drudgery. It would be something that would take up time that I have for reading or exercising or just relaxing. So the idea of it being job-like in the fact that it might be hard work or drudgery or tedious was in the back of my mind. I still had this mindset that it might not be all that much fun. As it turns out, there's something super fun about the editing process that I was not expecting. I wasn't expecting that it'd be fun to splice out some of the bloopers that are naturally going to happen in front of the camera and put it back together and make a seamless and entertaining video. The other thing I was afraid of was that I'm not the right demographic. I'm not the young person, cutting edge. But then I got to thinking, I have a lot of life experience. I have a lot more life experience than someone who's in their 20s. And I have a lot of things that I've created life hacks for that people love to hear about. And this is really important. When you're talking to people and you have ideas that you share or concepts that you share, and they really want to know how you do something, then it's important to really say, this might be of value to another person and not undercut your value to the world. So I really had to deal with that question, and it ended up also being a no-brainer. I have a lot of things to share. And what's the best way to do it? Through social media. The next thing I was afraid of was that I wouldn't like the way I looked on the camera. And the only way to overcome that fear is to really just do it. So when I started, I said, today, this Saturday or Sunday is going to be my practice day. I'm going to set up the tripod and I'm going to put the camera on there. I'm going to make that camera the everyday person in my life who I would be talking to and not really think about it, just speak as though I would normally speak. And I found that, yes, especially in the first take, I stumbled a lot and I had to restart. I think I might have done 6 takes, but I also learned that you don't have to stop the camera. I can sit in front of the camera and be intelligent and share my thoughts in a conversational kind of way. And it feels really organic and really natural. So again, that fear was also unfounded. And then another concern for me was that I didn't have the equipment that I needed, and I might not really want to invest in that kind of equipment. So here's what I decided. I decided to kill the monster of fear while it's small and go forward with a modified plan. I don't need the best of equipment, especially if this isn't going to fly. And I was willing to take the risk of trying something before making a full judgment about it. Now, I will tell you this. I did postpone all of this for about 2 years. I've been talking about doing this for about 2 years. And honestly, that was time lost. But here's another tip of how to move through fear. If you pause, if you hesitate, if you delay getting started, chances are you won't ever start. So one of the breakthrough ways to move through fear is to take massive action right away. In this case, I needed a new phone to improve the quality of the video and even the photos. But in this case, I saw it as a business decision. I saw it as an opportunity to get the ball rolling. That step was actually fairly easy. It's the next step that was the hardest, and that was to start videoing myself. And this really encapsulates all of the fears into one big snowball that was going to stop me, or could have stopped me, and did stop me in the past. And to my surprise, it was actually fun. So this is where I landed. And I honestly look forward to doing these. So let's just recap. So first is have the idea. Second is honor the fact that this is something, if it's been coming up for a long, long time, that truly is a part of what will make your life more rewarding, will give you things you might not otherwise experience. So it's very important to have something that will add value to your life, because at the end of the day, it comes down to simplicity. It comes down to being practical. It comes down to doing the things that you love. And if you let fear stand in your way, you're going to miss out. It's as simple as that. The times I've stretched beyond my comfort zone, and let's face it, this is all about comfort zone, I've found that I'm more alive. I'm more in love with life. I'm more energized, and I feel younger. So let's leave it on that note. One of the ways that you can feel younger in your retirement is to try new things, doing things that are outside of your norm. This will enliven you and bring you joy on a daily basis. And for those of you that want to start a YouTube channel, I'm going to tell you what, just follow these steps. Get the tripod. You already have a phone. You don't even need to buy a new phone. Just start with what you have and experiment, because it's all about experimentation. It's not about being perfect. None of us are perfect, and we're never going to be perfect. Just start and find a path to making this happen for you. The other thing I really want to say is about things that might be missing from your repertoire is to use YouTube as a learning tool. There's plenty of videos, and I'll be making some of my own, but there's plenty of videos out there on the how-tos, the whys, the how-tos, the strategy. But to start, what you really need is the strategy to get yourself moving. And so that's where we are today. I hope you've enjoyed some of these insights, and I wish you all well. And I wish you all to move forward in following your retirement dreams. Thanks so much. And don't forget to like or subscribe below and leave some comments. It's been a pleasure to spend time with you today. Looking forward to the next time.